Historic battles Hollywood got embarrassingly wrong. Most movies are expected to take some liberties with history for dramatic effect. Recreating history is challenging. Filmmakers may not have the time or budget to research every single prop in the scene. War films have always had inaccuracies. Historic war films have always taken liberties with battle details. The Battle of the Bulge, 1965, received public criticism by General, then President, Dwight D. Eisenhower for its inaccuracies, such as leaving out the British contributions and the impact of the air forces in helping the Allies repel German forces. The Green Berets, 1968, has been criticized for details like showing a private first class, E3, wearing a green beret despite being too low of a rank. Tora, 1970, shows Japanese forces attacking the fleet in Pearl Harbor before hitting Wheeler Field. In reality, Japanese forces hit the airfield while attacking the harbor to ensure the Americans wouldn't be able to get planes in the air while they conducted the harbor mission. Factual errors about historic battles continue to emerge in the war films produced in the last 35 years, despite the expanded availability of research resources. With so many details in the filmmaking process, mistakes are inevitable. 300. Spartans v Persians at Thermopylae. 300 is a highly stylized film about the ancient Greek Battle of Thermopylae. Despite the warnings of the Spartan ephors, a council of magistrates, the oracle, who declares the timing to be bad, King Leonidas engages in war with the Persians. The ephors denied King Leonidas the use of the Spartan army, so he puts together a troop of 300 soldiers to meet the Persians in battle at Thermopylae. They are accompanied by armies from other city-states. The Spartans hold the ground at a narrow pass, a defensive stronghold that keeps Persian forces from coming through. Other city-states retreat as the tide of the battle shifts, but the Spartans hold firm at the pass. As the Persians close in, King Leonidas and his men are defeated. 300 turns a real battle into a work of art. The costumes were wrong. Actual Spartan soldiers would have had armor rather than fighting bare-chested, but filmmakers wanted more visual appeal. All Spartans had plumes on their helmets, but filmmakers only gave King Leonidas a plume to differentiate him from the regular soldiers. And Xerxes was not a 9 feet tall cartoon monster. The Persians would not have used elephants and rhinoceros to attack the Spartans. But the film is mainly criticized for implying that the Spartans fought alone. The Spartans had support from the Athenian city-state. The Athenian fleet engaged and defeated the Persian fleet in the straits outside of Thermopylae. Braveheart, 1995. Audiences of the 1995 film Braveheart, starring Mel Gibson as the warrior leader, would be shocked to learn that the film isn't based exclusively on the real William Wallace. Wallace, a Scottish knight, led troops during the First War of Scottish Independence in the late 1200s, early 1300s. Their stories appear to be meshed for the film. His real-life counterpart killed the Sheriff of Lanark after he killed Wallace's betrothed. Wallace assumed the Scottish standard against the English, defeating them at Stirling Bridge in 1297, a bloody battle included in the film, sort of. Battle of Stirling Bridge. Braveheart had several inaccurate details. The tartans, the weapons, and the face paint are suspect. The greatest offender is a pinnacle scene in the film. The Battle of Stirling scene left out important detail. The Battle of Stirling was actually the Battle of Stirling Bridge. The bridge was vital to Scots' success. The Scots used the bridge, and a lot of patience, as a battle tactic. The Outlaw King is the tale of Braveheart's other character inspiration, Robert the Bruce. Robert the Bruce becomes the face of the Scottish resistance to English rule. The film captures the turbulent period between 1304 and 1307, as Robert the Bruce becomes King of Scots and takes up arms against the English. The film includes the Battle of Loudon Hill, with Scots fighting the forces led by Edward II, who takes up the mantle after the death of his father, King Edward I. Robert the Bruce is outnumbered, but still prevails. After a sword fight similar to one earlier in the film, Robert the Bruce takes King Edward II captive. Winning the battle through the use of traps and strategy gave them enough honor. The problem with this scenario is that the Prince of Wales, Edward II, was not even close to the Loudoun Hills battle. He safely stayed far south of the site. Napoleon, 2023, and the Egyptian campaign. Napoleon director Ridley Scott acknowledges that being completely accurate in the film, Napoleon was a formidable task, as every resources has slight variations of the title character's history. But the film's depiction of Napoleon's battles, his campaign in Egypt, received a specific critique. Near the infamous ancient pyramids, Napoleon met an army of Mamelukes, an elite Turkish force. Egypt was part of the Turkish Empire at the time and ready to defend its territory. Napoleon's troops defeated the Mamelukes and marched on to Cairo, but were later thwarted by British Admiral Horatio Nelson at the Battle of Trafalgar. The pyramids weren't in as much danger as Napoleon implies. In a scene that strikes horror in the hearts of historians, Scott shows the French forces firing a cannon at the top of the Great Pyramids, hitting one of them. Fortunately, according to historian Dan Snow, this didn't and couldn't have happened. In fact, the Battle of the Pyramids didn't even happen at the pyramids. It happened about 9 miles away in Embabe. The pyramids were visible but not close enough for danger. Nor did Napoleon's forces break the nose off the Sphinx, a common myth. Gods and Generals, 2003. Gods and Generals portrays the Civil War's Battle of Fredericksburg from the perspective of the Southern leadership. The film is a study of Southern Civil War leaders, centering around Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee, and Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, who leave their comfortable existence to lead Confederate units against Union forces. Gods and Generals is praised for its depiction of the Battle of Fredericksburg. The Battle of Fredericksburg gives Chamberlain experience on the battlefield, but just as important for the film, it sets up its companion film, Gettysburg, 1993. Gods and Generals sets Gettysburg up as payback for the defeat at Fredericksburg. But one detail is left out of the film altogether: the Battle of Antietam, which led to Lincoln issuing the Emancipation Proclamation. The film has been criticized for its Southern perspective, and more damning, its treatment of the slavery issue. First, the issue of slavery, so central to the Civil War itself, is glossed over. Slaves are shown as well-treated, friends, if not almost family, overlooking the nature of slavery itself. A good war film will put the viewer in the trenches with the characters, being observers of the tension, fear, and adrenaline soldiers face in battle. But when errors are glaringly obvious, it breaks that cinematic connection.